Well, hello there, AnxiousCynic back again, and as you may recall, we decided to hold another Minecraft animation competition recently. The due date was the 17th of September, but we had a request by someone to wait so they could submit, and they never did, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this video. But anyway, we only got 4 submissions, one of which was mine, so technically 3. And so I figured now that World War III has started, we'll go ahead and do this animation review. So the first one we got up here is by Boom Nights. And before we start this, I do want to say that this was supposed to be, spooky animations for the old Halloween, and this wasn't very spooky. Also, he claims he only spent 3 hours on this.
Well, time for bed. Wait, just in case there's any monsters down there.
Alright, so despite this being kind of a comedic take on the theme, I still quite enjoyed it. I think it was well done, well animated, and the lighting and the setting seems pretty good. Nothing to really complain about per se, other than perhaps it's a bit short. Now for those who are in the Discord and read the rules, the minimum length is 10 seconds, so this obviously qualifies, but it's nice to see people put a little more time into it, a little more time to kind of invest in something, and if it's good, obviously, enjoy it. Next up we have Black Empire, and this one he says that it was his first animation without using tutorials. Now first of all, I gotta say, these turtle shell lamps, brilliant. That's not too bad for, your first animation without using tutorials. The few notes I would have about this is that you can see there's just like a lot of flatlands out here, so if you're gonna have kind of a glass room, then maybe you would want to make the background environment a little more interesting to look at, or at least not completely open like this, as it's kind of a distraction to what's going on in the foreground. Besides that, the main note I would have about this animation is particularly this shot after he starts walking right around here where it's panning. Right there we have some weird geometry popping in, and then this move from that side panning motion to zooming in is kind of an odd move cinematographically. You see here how it kind of just stops very abruptly and then starts zooming in. You typically don't want shots like that for your camera work. It kind of takes the viewer out of the moment. So what I would probably have done there is smooth this out, have the camera come over here and gradually come to kind of a stop, have the character continue walking by, and then slowly have it pan in towards the character here. And also, you're going through his body, his leg there, so you typically don't want that. You do have this kind of effect here of like distortion, which sort of comes from nowhere. It's not really a bad effect, but it doesn't really serve much purpose. It's like, because this is like a cinema style shot. It's not like it's CCTV. Obviously you can use this even if it's not like a security camera footage thing, but it seems just kind of like it comes out of nowhere. It happens after you go through the leg. Maybe you're trying to accommodate for the fact that you go through the geometry there. I don't know, but in any case, not bad. Next up, we got Unnamed submission. No real notes or anything to provide on this one, not even a description. So for this one, I actually thought it was interesting to go with the kind of CCTV style. At least that's the vibe I get from it, because you have this sort of white noise static playing throughout the whole thing and a lot of stationary kind of odd angle shots that you would have with a security camera or something like that. But I would say for that, it really needs to have some kind of filtering or some kind of difference in the colors. Having it look just like straight out of Minimator, straight out of Minecraft, whatever, it's probably not the ideal aesthetic to go with if you're trying to do security camera footage. For instance, this shot here, it's outdoors and whatnot, and you know, typically you want there to be some distortion. Maybe you could do some over sharpening. You don't have to really go too crazy with, you know, effects of, you know, digital glitching or anything like that. A lot of security camera footage nowadays in particular is pretty high quality. So typically you just want to maybe add some, like I said, over sharpening look to it, because a lot of like small sensor cameras have a kind of a sharpening effect applied to them, so things kind of look unnaturally sharp. The colors, maybe in this kind of instance, you would want to, I don't know, desaturate, give maybe a night vision filter to this, make it kind of grayscale or green looking, something like that. In any case, the main criticism I have of this is that it's just way too dark. Even if you're trying to do a dark scene like this, which is okay, I understand it, but you have these lanterns here and they're like super bright. The emission or brightness on them in Minimator is turned way up, but the light they're casting is abysmal. So first of all, you know, that emission brightness of this object is way too high. It does not need to be that big. It stands out as almost like something that was applied after the fact, like layered onto it, composited. But yeah, if it's gonna be bright like that, then it certainly needs to be casting more comparable light to the brightness. And then overall, even without that being the case, like, it's just way too dark. Like, watching this, I could barely see that your ghost monster, whatever, is there. Steve is there. Doesn't seem to be any effort paid into Steve's skin. He's just laying there with his eyes open, which, you know, maybe he's supposed to have his eyes open, but it just kind of looks like default skin. If he's awake, he should be moving. If he's supposed to be sleeping, his eyes should be closed. Use a different skin or something like that. Put some materials over his eyes to make it look like eyes are closed, something. But that's pretty much it for the technical aspects. The other thing I would have an issue with here is the inclusion of the music. I like the CCTV vibe of it, and I think just kind of keeping that, just having that monotone, monotonous white noise and no music would have been better. I think it makes this more impactful. The music is actually more distracting than anything. There's also inconsistency here where the lamp is now bright, but there's actually no light casting from it at all. So that's another thing. And it's only really when I come back through here reviewing it that I look and see that, oh, his head's left there and his body's gone. I think. It's so dark it's hard to tell, but hard to tell for sure. It's a little bit of a chore to try and watch this and understand what's taking place on screen. So the lighting really is the biggest thing. Something to keep in mind. If people can't see your creation, then that's kind of a problem when it's a visual product. And finally, here's my submission. It's a bit longer. This is about 2.5 minutes. So what I'm gonna do here is, instead of play this, because this really isn't about me, I just wanted to do this competition to help maybe motivate myself to actually finish this animation, because I had just started on it and I was having severe motivation issues to finish it. So what I'm gonna do is just pick a point here to play a part of this, and if you guys want to see it, links to all these animations will be in the description, so you can go down there, or maybe there'll be a card up or something if you want to go watch this whole thing. Alright, so there you have it. There's a little clip of that animation. Once again, this is over on my Box Spring Animations animation channel, so if you want to go check it out, feel free to do so. I'm pretty much happy with how it turned out. If I had to criticize anything, I wasn't really satisfied with the lighting, but it took about 15 hours to render this animation, so I wasn't about to go back to tweak lighting and re-render it. I didn't think it was really worthwhile. It's just a bit brighter than I wanted it to be, and the little nightlight there is casting too much light. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how the animation churned out for the kind of reluctant and low effort that I put into it. So that's gonna do it, guys. Thanks for hanging in there, and maybe we'll hold another competition before the month is out. We'll have to see how things go, but thanks to everyone who submitted, and stay safe out there.